method of governance. The way the Church's finances are organized, with independent dioceses feeding support to that center. The way the Church's diplomacy is structured, with papal legates dispatched to world capitals. The way the cult of the leader is maintained, with the Bishop of Rome regarded as the deity's vicar. All of this echoes the methods of the Imperium, a system that is otherwise long gone. St. Peter's Basilica, after all, is an architectural duplication of the palace of the emperor. Indeed, the word basilica derives from the basal wreath with which, in primordial Rome, the ruler was crowned. Meanwhile, Catholic doctrine is grounded in philosophical propositions that came into their own in the ancient world, which is why any revision of that doctrine, is it even possible, would amount to an extraordinary intellectual and spiritual transformation. Down through the ages, the tension between the papacy and the councils of the Church, which across 2,000 years were convened, on average once each century, can be seen to have been analogous to the tension between Caesar and the Roman Senate, which ended tragically. Indeed, the Church has, if only accidentally, carried forward the internal conflict between republic and empire, a tension that, in the Church's case, while yet to be resolved, has become dramatic in the contemporary push-pull between the laity and lower clergy on one side and the hierarchy on the other. For all of these reasons, Catholicism continues to be an object of fascination, and admittedly, of repugnance. Grave moral failings of the Church became evident in the era since my birth, and those historic failings were compounded by further mistakes in recent years. I reflect on this dark legacy, showing what it meant to me as I was repeatedly forced to confront it. But I aim less at judgmental criticism than at a loving act of remembrance, recalling Catholics and myself to what they have been at their best. A tradition centered on social justice, accommodation of immigrants, the work of peace, sacramental respect for creation, liturgical beauty, a global vision, and the consolations of faith. All of this weighs as much in the scale of history as spiritual imperialism, scandal, and hypocrisy. One theme of practicing Catholic is loss, but another, through the embrace of change, is renewal. Catholic history is nothing but a saga of glory and tragedy, corruption and reform, false starts and new beginnings. In our time, this age-old pattern has been compressed and sped up with an edge that cuts deeper than ever before. I bring a Catholic sensibility to bear on this experience, but equally I bring an American sensibility, which is something else entirely. American Catholicism, which has been profoundly influenced by the nation's predominantly Protestant ethos, is a subject of its own here, with tension running in both directions against the broader national culture, which is overtly secular but implicitly pietistic, and against European Catholicism, which in the past was established hierarchical and anti-modern, but is at present in a state of near collapse. European Catholicism came to the United States and became something new, as it is today, becoming something new in Africa and Asia. Third world religiosity may define the Catholic future, much as Europe defines its past. But American Catholicism stands decisively on its own ground, even if Rome has never fully accommodated that. At its peak, just as I entered the seminary in the early 1960s, the Catholic Church in the United States was an astounding success story. Perhaps as much as a third of the nation's population, more than 50 million people were Catholics, and nearly 3/4 of them reported attending Mass every week. Since then, success story is not the way the Church would be described. Yet a vast number of people continue to understand themselves either in its terms or against them. Today, there are about 70 million self-identified Catholics in the United States, about a quarter of the nation's population, registered in about 20,000 parishes. They put $1 billion a year in collection baskets. This may not seem like a decline, but these numbers are bolstered by a huge percentage of newly